Imagine you're an attacker who doesn't just peek into a server's files, but actually plants your own code and forces the system to run it. That's today's chain. Local file inclusion, file upload bypass, and log poisoning, leading all the way to remote code execution. If you missed episode 4 on SSO brute force, shadow SAS, and multi-cloud pivots, go check it after this, because every episode builds your skills to think like attackers who stack vulnerabilities together. Quick reminder, this is for education only. Everything I'm about to show is recreated in safe labs with intentionally vulnerable apps. Never test these techniques on systems you don't own or without written permission. Follow responsible disclosure, and remember, the goal here is to learn and defend, not misuse. Here's today's roadmap. Step 1. Local file inclusion, where attackers read sensitive files. Step 2. File upload abuse, sneaking malicious content past defenses. Step 3. Log poisoning, injecting code into server logs. And Step 4. Remote code execution, where attackers get full control. By the end, you'll not only understand how this chain works, but also where defenders can break it. Let's start simple. Local file inclusion means the application lets users request files from the server, but doesn't properly check what path you're asking for. So instead of just fetching a safe file like about.php, an attacker can trick it into showing /etc/PASSWD, which lists system accounts. Why care? Because 24% of vulnerabilities actively exploited today involve LFI, and this issue has stuck around for over a decade. It's not just theoretical. Plugins, CDNs, even ad platforms have had critical LFIs reported just this year. Attackers get creative. They try path traversal, .. until they reach sensitive files. If filters block that, they use null bytes or double encoding to slip through. Advanced attackers exploit PHP wrappers to base 64 encode files or even run input as code. Real examples? Jenkins had an LFI where attackers could pull /etc/shadow. TCPDF had one in its PDF rendering. And here's the kicker. LFIs succeed 92% of the time when tried on unpatched systems, while defenses block only about a third. Let's see impact. Jenkins LFI led to stolen GitHub tokens and supply chain compromise. TCPDF let attackers steal data through PDF exports. Cacti monitoring tool chained LFI with SQL injections straight to RCE. Even Hashnode, a blogging platform, once had LFI in its theme parameter. Lesson? LFIs aren't niche. They hit mainstream apps and cloud platforms, and they are often a stepping stone to something worse. Now layer 2, file uploads. Most websites let you upload profile pictures, resumes, reports, but 68% handle uploads insecurely. Attackers exploit this by renaming a malicious script to shell.php.jpg or spoofing the content type. Once uploaded, that innocent image might actually be a PHP shell. With one browser request, the attacker runs system commands. This turns a simple feature into a direct doorway for remote code execution. And defenses? They are often superficial. You check extensions? I'll add double extensions. You check headers? I'll spoof them. You block uppercase code.php? I'll mix case shell.php. And if you filter everything, I'll use polyglot files that are both valid images and code. This is why attackers love upload bugs. They chain beautifully with LFI and logs. Third layer, log poisoning. Servers record logs, IPs, browsers, errors. If you send a request with a custom user agent header, that string gets logged. Now, if there's an LFI that lets me include that log file, boo, the server executes my code. That's log poisoning. And here's the scary stat. 78% of real LFI exploits eventually pivot into log poisoning, while detection takes on average 37 days. Here's how it plays out. Step 1. Find an LFI parameter. Step 2. Send a poison request with PHP code hidden in the headers. Step 3. Call the log file again through the LFI, passing a command like id. The server responds with uid is equal to 33 www-data. The attacker now runs commands as the web server. From reading files to running commands, that's the pivot. In 2022, researchers reported exactly this chain in Hashnode. The theme parameter allowed LFI. Logs could be accessed, and by injecting code in headers, attackers could have escalated to RCE. Thankfully, it was responsibly disclosed and patched. But imagine if it wasn't. Over 800,000 developers' data could have been exposed. This shows why LFI plus logs plus uploads are such a dangerous combo. Now let's connect the dots. First, the attacker uses LFI to access server files. Second, they upload a file disguised as an image, really a PHP shell. Third, they poison the logs with malicious code. Finally, they execute commands through that poisoned log. One slip in validation or log handling, and the chain is complete. Attacker owns the server. This diagram shows it all. Locate, discover, poison, execute. Each step looks small in isolation, but chained together, they bypass almost every defense. Here's the harsh truth. It takes an attacker just 3 to 5 minutes to go from discovery to full remote code execution. And 92% of these chains succeed if the components are unpatched. That's near certainty. For those who love the nitty-gritty, here's what's happening. LFI payloads use traversal like page equals .. etc. /passwd. Upload bypass uses double extensions or MIME spoofing. Magic bytes trick validators by starting with GIF89A. Logs are poisoned with PHP payloads in headers. Together, these break the illusion of isolation. Each layer supports the next until code execution is trivial.
So what's the real-world impact?
Sensitive data theft, lateral movement into internal networks, financial cost averaging $4.7 million per breach. And here's the kicker. Only 8% of RCE chains are detected by traditional defenses. That means defenders are blind to 92% of attacks. Take Cacti, a monitoring tool where SQL injection and LFI led to RCE across 17,000 installations. Or Hashnode, where LFI plus uploads plus logs almost exposed 832,000 users, taking 67 days to detect. Severity? CVSS 9.8. That's as bad as it gets. These are not edge cases, they are mainstream incidents. Why do attackers love chaining? Because of exponential growth. One vuln gives a handful of paths. Add a second and you got dozens. Add a third, hundreds. 4 or more, over 120 attack paths. Security teams often treat vulnerabilities in isolation, patching one bug at a time. But attackers connect the dots. That's why chains are so powerful. Good news, you can bake the chain. Stop LFIs with strict path validation. Neutralize uploads by storing them outside the web root. Sanitize and secure logs so they can't be weaponized. Even if you miss one, layered defenses cut risk by 97%. The key is depth, not single controls. Want to practice or defend better? Use these. Burp Suite and OWASP Zap for testing. OSSEC and Vaza for intrusion detection. ELK and Falco for log analysis and runtime security. And study exploitDB and MITRE ATT&CK to see how real-world exploits evolve. Key takeaways. Say them out loud to your team. Detection often fails on chains. Attackers can go from discovery to RCE in minutes. The fix is layered defense and cross-system thinking. If you haven't watched episode 4 yet, SSO Brute Force and Shadow SaaS to Multicloud, watch it next. It explains identity and cloud pivoting that pair with today's topics. Next episode will cover deserialization to RCE, another chain with shockingly high impact. Subscribe, share this with your blue team, and leave one thing you'll change this week in the comments. Each episode builds on the last, and together they'll give you a complete blueprint for modern vulnerability chaining. This is Bug Bounty and Beyond, where we don't just break things, we build the future of security. Thanks for watching. Stay secure.